Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. In today's video, I'm going to show you my team for the Grave of Wrath challenge number 6, which is a little bit of a quirky one and pretty difficult one. However, I managed to beat it, honestly, without even putting these buffs, right? So, if you have these buffs, obviously, to try and add some more, see what else is going to help you more. But you know what? I just did not get my hand around these buffs to try and test them out. I didn't even use the ones from that we have in the inbox, and I still managed to beat it. So let me show you the team. Now, as always, before I jump into the video, I do want to mention that if you want to support me as a content creator, you can use code OddOne that you see over there at the top. Make sure you use capital O's. As soon as you support, you're going to get some free instant rewards. And also, the more people support me, the more giveaways I will have from them to be able to give you Worm Arrow, Hero Lights, and all of that cool stuff. Now, the reason, honestly, why I didn't do this, I didn't try to put the buffs, is because I managed to beat it even without the buffs. And honestly, the team is pretty relatable, I guess. It's not free-to-play friendly, I guess, if you want to call it, to be fair. Even though, you know, I'm fully free-to-play now, I have not spent, but I'm using some pretty easy-to-obtain, I guess, heroes if you plan your summons at the right time. But a few things that you want to keep in mind always when you look at these ones is, well, see what the boss has, right? Each week has some different rotations, some different affixes. The top one is pretty much the same. Every time the boss does an ult, does a full rotation, gets 25% more damage. Then each time the boss deals damage, there's a 50% chance to inflict one debuff on the target, which again can be something at random. Then the boss skill will dispel 3 additional buffs from the target. So obviously, trying to get a ton of buffs might not be the best, the best idea, because it's you cannot rely on that, right? This is the Rotting Assault. So if you want to try and get buffs, make sure you do them after this one happens, because otherwise it's not going to be ideal. But let me just show you the team. Honestly, this one should be working pretty much for most of them. The rotation, I kind of left some things to be full YOLO. Actually, I didn't. I just did not do Gillian's one, but I'm pretty sure you can let her to be full YOLO. This healing you see over here, as soon as the boss does the assault, like I mentioned, you're going to see that defense up is removed on whoever gets attacked. We saw that only Zorak was attacked, so obviously only Zorak had that one removed. Now, there is a slight level of RNG over here. The slight level of RNG is when the boss does this Rotting Assault, it can be pretty stupid, where it's, it can hit all the times on one single target. It doesn't matter how tanky they are, unless it's Urion, you're pretty much gonna die, right? So, but even like this, I think we can still survive, right? Even though we saw that Zorak died, unless we get some bad RNG again of 3 hits happening on the same target, then we should be just fine. I guess, this was a little bit of a bad RNG one. However, because you're limited on these tickets, it doesn't matter if it fails once or twice, right? It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter how many times it fails, unless, you do 10 runs and only one is successful, then yeah, you're going to have a problem. However, as long as this one just works, 50% of the time, you can do several of your tickets and you're going to be good to go, because, again, you're limited to 2 tickets per day for these challenges, plus the extra from however many normal dungeons you do. Every time you do a gear dungeon, pretty much every 10 gift dungeons, you get another ticket. So it's not like you're going to have an obscene amount of tickets, right? An obscene number of tickets where like, oh my God, this has to be perfect. This has to be always 100% successful. No, as long as it works, 50% of the time, it works every time, you're going to be good to go. And as you can see, you know what? There we go. 47 seconds. This worked just fine. Main damage dealer, obviously, Beldel, then Sheena, then Zorak. But let me just show you, I guess, the skill timings. I even did this on purpose with Gillian and Urion instead of bringing Felocia, because, a lot of people say they don't have Felocia. I also have Mithrasia, which I did not bring Mithrasia on purpose because, again, I tried to show this to be a little bit more relatable. Now, the Inspired 5 Zorak, Inspired 2 Sheena that you see here is not relatable. However, it's not mandatory, right? They're not the main damage dealers. These are the enablers. So let's have a look at the timings. You're going to see that I just made Sheena, Zorak, and also Beldel go a little bit later. I want the boss to do the Rotting Assault so that he doesn't attack more, because the more debuffs the boss has, the more attacks it does with that hit, and as you saw, it can hit pretty hard. Then you're going to see that I put Beldel to do her ultimate at 18.2. The reason for that is when I want her to do her ultimate after we have our Yurion being devoured, right? Because after it does that, she can do a big blast of damage, so we can free Yurion as soon as possible. Also, because of that reason and a little bit of quirkiness, I made Yurion do his ultimate again, 18.3. Pretty much after he gets released, he does his ultimate and then he covers everybody or tries to keep everybody alive with that ally protection, so that when the boss does the first AoE, the second time around, we have some mitigation, and then Gillian gets the chance to come back with her ultimate to heal us and put that defense up. So that's pretty much the rotation. And for this one is the Tidal Surge. You can see there's no timings down for it, just whatever base level and whatever I leveled up, that's what I used. Now let's have a look at the builds. So for the talents, first of all, Gillian fully in the middle, Yurion in the middle. And when it comes to Beldel, I went this way. I feel like this is the right way to go, right? Especially obviously this one at the bottom. Then Sheena, I went like this, and then Zorak, pretty similar. Mostly focusing on, getting more. The thing what I noticed that looks okay is for the supports, Zorak and Sheena, to have this one, they say give them more ice crystals when they cast their ultimate, but then at the same time, you want to pair it with this one. When gaining overflow ice crystal, you deal cold damage. Most of the time, because both Sheena and Zorak give a ton of ice crystals on their ultimate, you're going to be overflowing, so go with that. Like, I didn't choose to go like that with Beldel because I have a feeling this works better as it allows her to consume 2 ice crystals, therefore doing more damage. And then I kind of did this one as well because every time she consumes an ice crystal, she has the chance to gain 1 more, which means she can do her battle skill more often. But when we're looking at the builds, you're going to see that I have Gillian with the Hourglass, then in an Ancestral Protection, with as much Enlightenment HP and defense as I possibly could. Then if we look at Yurion is actually in the Puppeteer's Inspiration. The reason for that is him alongside the 3 Ice Blast are all Ice Element, which means he's gonna boost their ultimate energy, right? Soon as he gets out from being devoured, he pops this, gets everybody from the Ice Blast team back to their ultimates faster. I also gave him the Monolith's Teardrop just in case, it can become tricky, and then also Drogo's Blast Jar. This, I guess, helps a little bit with the RNG. If this procs when he gets attacked by the boss, there's a chance the boss deals 15% less damage, but it's mostly survivability for him, right? Get him tanky and you're good to go. Then let's have a look at Zorak. For Zorak, I went with Dawn Organ Pipe with as much attack as possible. Would also give him a Strike, the Unprepared attack percent glove. And honestly, the reason why I went with this is because I've been told that the Dawn Organ Pipe does boost Beldel's damage, right? But if you don't have the Dawn Organ Pipe, you can try and go with the Titan Rib, and then just make sure you give him enough resist, because you know what? This would actually make sense. Maybe I should even try it, right? Maybe at the end of this, I'm going to try and give Zorak resist and see if it looks easier, because you know what? There's a lot of debuffs happening in this fight, so if Zorak can block some of those debuffs, he's going to be boosting the damage, so that can be good. I'm curious if this can stack, right? If this can stack, then that's crazy, right? Every time he resists a debuff, because the boss does one at 6, then one at 12, then, every time he attacks with AoE. But his main set was Brotherhood Spirit because, again, he's mostly an enabler and he's trying to give us damage. Then if you look at Sheena's going to be in Witch's Remains, but then I focused her in a damage build with Crit Rate Glove in the Strike the Unprepared, Chaos Symbiosis because this is the best I have to give more damage. Ideally, you would want to go for the Bloodshade Mark. Maybe, I'm not sure if I have a better one. Maybe I could try and get this, but you know what, for now it works. And then obviously Fearless Challenge is really important for most boss fights. Then if you look at Beldel, I don't have her exclusive artifact, but I do have Blooms of Prina, which is the Ice Blast exclusive, and this works really well. She's using Imposing Presence. Even though you don't get the benefit of this, it's a good attack percent with triple crit rate roll, so I kept that. Then a crit damage glove with just 1 roll into crit rate, Bloodshed Mark like I mentioned with some crit rate, and all the other substats don't matter, and then another Fearless Challenge. So that's pretty much the team. Should be able to give you Grave of Wrath challenge number 6 to be pretty easy. I guess, let me just quickly try and rebuild this and see, let me see which one is with resist that can help me. Let me try and put the Titan Rib, like I said, this one over here, and then maybe try and get some more resistance from this one. And I want to go in and see how much, how does it look for the sake of damage? Is it going to be better with the Titan Rib or not? I guess we can see this right now. Let me just get myself a decade. Because like I said, pretty much we're going to get 15% more damage. We're going to be losing the attack that, Zorak gave from the what's it called? We still got debuffs, so I don't get it. I guess he did block one, so maybe this is gonna work, right? Because he blocked the recharge speed penalty. You saw that Sheena got killed. It's like, you know, that's the stupid RNG that I hate. It's like if one person gets hit 3 times, they die, and that's exactly what happened, right? We got hit 3 times. Sheena got hit 3 times, and pretty much then she died. But I'm not sure. I cannot honestly tell because this fight is so RNG. I cannot tell if it's like, you know, does it boost more damage or not? But I guess you can test this for yourself to see, you know, are you going to be doing more damage with Titan Rib, or are you going to be doing more damage with a Dawn Argon Pipe in case you have both of those ones. But that pretty much is it for today. I hope this video helps you beat this challenge, right? Because the drops from doing these challenges are pretty insane, right? So you obviously want to try and get the best possible rewards from these ones, as these are the spots where you can get those mythic plus pieces of gear, and they can be game changing, right? Those extra stats that it gives are just insane, right? Those extra stats are so crazy that the goal, I guess, the end game goal is to try and get as many of those mythic plus pieces as possible from these challenges, or at least get a perfect stat so you can try and carry them over to the next season. But I think this one actually looked like it was a bit better. Let's see, was this one faster a bit or not? Okay, I think it was, yeah, 1 second. So, you know what, each way it works for you, go ahead. Oh man, look at this. Hey, look at this, defense percent, bad main stat. But anyway, we're gonna leave it at this for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next. Again, don't forget to support me using code OddOne that you see at the top, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.